Let's go Broncos! The Denver Broncos are surprising the NFL, currently atop the AFC West and leading the entire league. But behind this dominant record, behind the electrifying energy of a 7-game winning streak, lies a problem that could ruin everything if not addressed immediately. You won't believe what's really going on inside the Broncos locker room during this bye week. Before revealing all the behind-the-scenes details, enjoy this video, especially if you've been following the Broncos all the way. And if you're a true fan, one of those who bleed orange and blue, leave a comment right now saying, "Go Broncos! My heart bleeds orange and blue." Now, get ready, because what's happening inside the Broncos locker room could be the turning point of the season or the warning sign we've all been ignoring. Now, let's get right into it. Despite their dominance on the scoreboard and in the standings, the Broncos are dealing with one serious issue that could become a major obstacle if not addressed immediately: penalties. Denver is leading the NFL in a category you never want to lead: total penalties. That's 93 flags thrown over the course of 11 games, adding up to a staggering 883 yards. That's over 80 penalty yards per game. It's wild to think a team with such discipline on defense and efficiency on offense can still be that undisciplined in the details. And it's not just the total number, it's how they're happening. The Broncos are 8th in pre-snap penalties and 7th in penalties committed on the road. That means this team is hurting itself before the ball is even snapped. And when the crowd is hostile, the mistakes stack up. The only saving grace? They've been 6-0 at home, and that home field advantage could be critical come January. But they can't rely on home turf to fix a discipline issue that's been consistent all year long. Here's where it gets interesting. For the first time all season, we're hearing from the players themselves on this penalty problem. And leading the conversation? None other than cornerback Riley Moss. Now, let's be real, Moss has been one of the most penalized players on the roster. He knows it, the coaches know it, the fans know it, but he's owning it, and that's a big step forward. He recently said that in practice, the focus is shifting. They're putting boxing gloves on his hands to force better technique and prevent grabs that lead to flags. That's the kind of accountability you need if you're going to clean this up. Moss specifically called out his own pass interference call against the Chiefs, admitting he can't be grabbing on underthrown balls and has to learn to play the ball instead. That's maturity. That's growth. And it's coming at the right time, because the Broncos are getting healthy. Key players like Pat Certain look ready to go post-bye, while others are inching closer to returning. That's massive. The return of disciplined, intelligent players means fewer mistakes, better coverage, and a more stable defense overall. Let's talk about why this all matters. The Broncos have won 7 straight. They're 9-2. The defense is shutting opponents down. And when the offense shows up, like they did against Kansas City, this team looks unstoppable. But these penalties? They're the crack in the armor. It's the one thing that could trip them up in the playoffs. And Sean Payton knows it. If you followed his career, you know he's a details guy. He's not going to let this continue. This bye week is the perfect time to reset. Fix the fundamentals. Drill the discipline. This isn't about reducing penalties to 0. It's about bringing that number down from 8 or 10 per game to 4 or 5. That could be the difference in a divisional playoff or AFC title game. On top of that, there's another area Payton is locked in on: the run game. Without J.K. Dobbins, the Broncos are trying to patch together production from a committee approach, but it's clear the absence of Dobbins is being felt. Against the Chiefs, they averaged just 2.8 yards per carry, with only 1.6 yards after contact. That's not going to cut it in cold weather football when running the ball becomes the backbone of every playoff offense. Jaleel McLaughlin finally got involved, and after being sidelined most of the season, it was encouraging to see him with 21 carries. R.J. Harvey and Tyler Batty also bring value with their east-to-west agility and pass-catching abilities, but what this backfield lacks is a north-south. Between the tackles bruiser who can keep the chains moving and wear down a defense. The solution? More power running. Adjust the scheme. Find rhythm. Play physical. That's what wins games in the postseason. You can't get into a shootout in Buffalo or Baltimore in January and expect to come out on top by airing it out 50 times. You need to dominate time of possession and lean on the run game to control pace and protect the defense. Because let's be honest, penalties like the ones we've seen from this Broncos team aren't just frustrating, they're momentum killers. We've watched too many drives stall because of a holding call or defensive stands wiped away due to a pass interference. And sure, sometimes the refs are questionable, but when you lead the entire NFL in penalty yards after 11 games, it's not bad luck, it's a trend. So what happens if they don't fix it? That's the bigger concern. You can't afford to hand over free yardage to the likes of Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson in a playoff game. And if the AFC runs through Denver, every inch matters. That's why what Riley Moss said matters. That's why the shift in practice philosophy matters. Because changing this isn't just about discipline, it's about changing habits at the root. And habits are formed in the practice field, not on Sundays. But while we're on the topic of what's going to make or break this playoff run, let's pivot back to the running game. Look, we know Sean Payton has a creative offensive mind, and we've seen what this team can do when they're balanced. The Broncos don't need to have the best rushing offense in the league, but they need to be reliable. As of now, they're not. They're sitting behind teams like the Bills, Colts, and Jaguars when it comes to rushing yards per game. And let's not forget, those are three teams they could easily face in January. Against the Chiefs, there was 0 explosive running plays. That can't happen again. Not when you're trying to protect a lead. Not when you're playing against elite defensive fronts like the Patriots, who still boast one of the best run-stopping units in football. When the playoffs hit and the weather turns brutal, you need to lean on a ground game that can pound the rock and eat clock. A running back rotation that produces 2.8 yards per carry just isn't going to get it done. Here's what we need to see: a commitment to power runs, inside zone schemes, and utilizing the strengths of guys like McLaughlin, Harvey, and Batty in smarter ways. This offense needs to be less about dancing around and more about downhill, physical football. This is the identity shift Payton has to engineer, and it starts in Week 13. So what's the playoff picture looking like right now? If the season ended today, the Broncos are sitting on a bye as the number 1 seed in the AFC. That means they'd skip wild card weekend and get home field advantage throughout. That's a dream scenario, but the margin for error is razor thin. Any slip up, any discipline issues, any run game failures, and they could fall to a 2 or 3 seed just like that. And let's not ignore the rest of the pack. The Colts are surging. The Bills could catch fire at any moment. The Steelers, despite their struggles, are always a threat in January. And Jacksonville, they've been quietly putting together a tough, resilient football team. Every one of those teams will test Denver in different ways. So while it feels amazing to be at the top, the work isn't done. In fact, it's only beginning. Sean Payton has turned this team around in a matter of weeks. 7 straight wins, a home fortress that hasn't been breached all season, and a defense that might be the nastiest in the AFC right now. But the real test will be whether or not this team can evolve where it needs to most: discipline and physicality. If they do that, there's not a team in this conference they can't beat. The defense is ready. The offense has shown flashes, and the energy around this team feels different, special even. But let's be real. Special seasons don't just happen. They're built through hard choices, through adjustments, and through addressing your flaws head on. So Broncos country, this is the moment. The foundation is there. The ceiling is a Super Bowl. The only question is whether this team can rise to meet it. If you believe they can, hit that like button, and let me know in the comments what you think the Broncos playoff seed will be by the end of the regular season. Are we staying at number 1, or do you think the road might get bumpier? Drop your predictions below, and don't forget to subscribe for more exclusive Broncos coverage. There's another video on the screen for you right now. Make sure to check that out and stay locked in. We're just getting started. Go Broncos!